What's up, guys? How is it going? You got Daisha here coming to you live from Amazon, North Dakota with another daily dose with Daisha. And in this video, I want to talk about confidence versus overconfidence. There's a very fine line in between these two. And the funny thing is most people cross this line on a daily basis. So that's what I want to talk about with you guys today. Make sure that you guys start saying hi as soon as you guys start jumping on. Let me know where out there. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from in the comment section below. If you're coming on the live, you know what to do. If you're coming on the replay, I want to actually know if you're listening right now. So if you're listening on the replay right now on my YouTube channel or wherever, you're able to leave a comment right now. Do me a favor and drop your favorite color into the comment section below. I appreciate you so much for joining me on this broadcast. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, and we are back. I appreciate you guys so much for being here with me today on Daily Dose with Daisha. Daily Dose with Daisha is not just a podcast, it is a brand. I decided to do Daily Dose with Daisha about 2 years ago when I decided to start doing live videos on a daily basis for an entire year. From that point forward, I just tried to throw in a little bit of positivity throughout the person's day. Hence the name Daily Dose. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this broadcast. I want to go over 3 different things here. First off, I want to go through what is confidence, right? What is confidence itself? The second thing is I want to go through what is the difference between confidence and overconfidence. And the last and final thing is I want to go through what things can we become aware of to stay in our lane on a daily basis. And when I mean stay in our lane, I mean to stay in that confidence zone or the overconfidence zone. So with that being said, let's dive into the first one here. So what is confidence itself? So confidence is basically just a feeling, right? It's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. That's a direct definition that I got off of Google there. But the way that I would explain it is it's basically just saying that you are 100% confident within yourself, within your abilities, within your values, and you know that whatever action you take throughout the day, whatever decision you decide to make, you are confident that it is the right decision. And even if you do make a mistake, you know that everything is going to be okay because you are confident within your abilities to be able to adapt to whatever situation. So that's basically what confidence is, right? With that being said, confidence is a feeling, right? It is a feeling, which means that that is just something that is activated. It's a chemical within our body. If you know how feelings are created, right? They're just emotions, right? So with that being said, if you look into our body and the way that it works, when an emotion is felt within a person's body, it's because there is a certain chemical that is being released, right? And we can actually control what happens with that chemical, right? So we can control when that chemical is released and how much of it, right? And how we react when that chemical is released within our body. Augustine, what's going on? Hi, Santa Cruz, California. That's what's up. Thanks for jumping on here with me today. I appreciate you so much. So with that being said, right, we can control how much of that confidence is given to us on a daily basis, right? And depending on how much is released within our body, we can also control how we react to that chemical being within our body. So for example, if there's a feeling of confidence that arises within a person, they can choose to not take action on that feeling at all. They can choose to just leave that feeling alone or ignore it and continue throughout their day. Another person may take that feeling of confidence and go do something that they love or go do something that they're super fearful of to be able to get over that little hurdle and that hump, right? It's that extra push of adrenaline or extra push that makes you think, man, yeah, I could actually do this, right? That's basically what it is, right? And you have control of whether or not you're going to react and take that information and utilize it and make it an effective piece of information, or whether or not you're just going to take that information and just let it kind of pass by over your head. Also, one thing that I have noticed is when that chemical of confidence gets released throughout your body, it actually kind of feels almost similar to being scared, right? That confidence, like feeling, kind of feels very similar to excitement, which is the same exact chemical that gets released when you are super scared of something, right? When you get super scared, what happens is you go into this fight or flight mode, right? And basically, these chemicals get released throughout your body to basically fight, to basically run or to hide, right? You have to focus on making sure that you are safe. Well, a very, very similar, I shouldn't say same, a very similar chemical gets released when you are excited, right? And there's like a fine line in between this. It's really, really cool. When you are in a position where you are going to be fearful of a situation, right, because of past experiences, right? It's not something where you're actually going to be in physical harm of something. You have a choice at that point whether you want to release the chemical of you being scared and continue to submit to that fear, or you can release the chemical of being excited. They are very, very similar, right? It's basically like opening up the same door and pushing through the certain chemical that you decide to choose, right? And the reason that I say this is there's been a bunch of studies done where this person was on the plane and they were super, super scared of being on a plane. They had never flown before. They had heard stories of people like dying on planes, all these different things, and they were just super, super scared. But he had read up on the same thing, that the chemical that gets released when you are fearful, right, is the same as when you're excited. So as soon as he started feeling fear, right, like he was about to freak out and get consumed and submit to that fear, all of a sudden he started saying, you know what, I'm not scared, right? I'm excited. I'm excited for this new experience. And all of a sudden he felt this rush of gratitude and excitement and confidence within himself that he was doing the right thing and making the right decision. Now, why am I saying this? So the reason that I'm saying this is I want you to start becoming a little bit more aware, right? When you're in a situation where you start feeling fearful, do you instantly just say, okay, yeah, like I'm scared, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, right? Or do Angeline, hey sis, hashtag laugh in New York. What's up, Angeline? Thanks for jumping on here. Appreciate you, sis. Or do you actually think about the situation as like, okay, yeah, I don't really need to be scared of the situation. It's just because it's something new and I'm excited for it to get going, right? With this information, you can start controlling kind of how the rest of your day goes, right? If you're usually used to submitting to fear, that usually means that you're used to allowing your day to control you rather than you controlling your day, which is really no way to live, guys, in my opinion. So that's basically what confidence is. Let's go into the next thing here. So what is the difference between confidence and overconfidence? So there's a fine line between the two. And the reason why I say fine line is because it's the same chemical being released, right? And it's really just how you take that information and how you take the feeling that you are getting and how you utilize that information, right? Because once you're confident within yourself, that usually means that you respect yourself. That usually means that you love yourself, right? And that usually means that you trust within yourself, which is just an amazing feeling, right? Having said that, when you get overconfident, you start stepping into this negative zone of ego, right? Of ego. And I say it with such darkness because it can really be a really dark thing. I know it's put there to protect us, right? Putting ourselves first, like if we're inside of a dangerous situation, but ego can be such a dark, dark place. And here's why I say that. When someone gets confident within yourself, you see this happening a lot to people that have lost a lot of weight. This happened to me as well, right? I'm not going to say that I am out of the spectrum because this happened to me as well. This happens to a lot of people statistically that lose a lot of weight, right? They're in high school, they're usually overweight, they get picked on by a lot of people, right? They lose a large amount of weight in kind of a small period of time. They start getting confident within themselves. And because everybody else was so mean to them, they kind of just allow their ego to explode, right? And when your ego explode, what happens is that you no longer care about respecting people or the well-being of people. You're more focused on you, right? You're more focused on how can you get more. It's almost like you step into this state of lack. I was just talking about this with one of my friends earlier. When you're in a state of lack, you're so greedy, right? You just take and take and take. She was telling me, like, why is it that people, they don't give respect even though you give them respect? Why is it that some people fall into this? But it's because they're in a state of lack, right? They're trying to squeeze every single little thing that they can out of it so that they can consume it and hold on to it within themselves. And they're just greedy, right? And when you fall into that ego state, you become greedy. You become greedy with your emotions. You become greedy with your money. You become greedy with everything. And with that greed comes close-mindedness. And when you are close-minded to everything else, you feel like you are the only person in the entire world that is right. And you, yes, you, right, could never, ever be wrong. That is overconfidence. And the reason why I say it's a fine line between those two is because you have to do the same steps at the beginning to get to those two states, right? So at the beginning, you have to take the steps of kind of being vulnerable for a moment, right? You have to be vulnerable. You have to admit that you have a problem, right? You have to find a solution to that problem. You have to take action on that, and you have to trust yourself that you are going to accomplish it no matter what, right? No matter what situation or hard times arise, you're going to accomplish it, right? To get to both of these states, this is what you first have to do, right? Then there comes a point, right? It's like a middle point in the middle of the road where you can split off into two directions, and it's just a single like moment, right? Or I guess I shouldn't say a single moment, but it's a single perspective that you start to take, right? When you start falling into the state that you are better than someone else, when you start falling into the state that no one can be better than you, that you have to keep going up this ladder, right? You have to keep proving yourself to other people and gaining all this attention, all eyes on you for you to feel satisfied within yourself. When you step into that ego lack mindset, right, that's when you become overconfident. If you don't, if you decide to take this new knowledge, this new confidence that you now have, this new feeling, this new self love that you have created within yourself, and you decide to take that and spread that to other people, to share that information of how you got there to other people, to not look down on anyone else who does not feel the same way, but instead help lift them up to that same position that you are at. That'll allow you to stay into a confidence zone. That's the difference between the two. You can tell the difference. It's almost like a devil and angel. It's a very fine line. I mean, both the devil and like the God, right, the angel, right? Both of them had to start out at one point, right, in the creation, but then they kind of made decisions along the way that kind of split them off into different paths, right? And that's the same thing that's gonna happen with your confidence versus your overconfidence, right? You can have confidence without having that overconfidence, without having that ego, right? You can see many people that are confident within themselves. They love themselves. They trust their decisions that they make. They make effective, calculated decisions, right? Because they trust that what they're doing and the research that they are gaining is going to give them the answers that they need, that's going to get them closer to their goal, right? Whereas overconfident people just think that they are right, and they're going to try to find every possible reason to make sure that they are right, even if they're wrong, right? And it's crazy, and it's a horrible place to step into. So guys, just be a little bit more aware throughout the day. I want to step into the third and final thing now before we jump off. So what things can we become aware of to kind of stay in our lane on a daily basis? So here's one thing, right? Basically, it's asking yourself the right questions, right? If you can ask yourself or coach yourself, that's the best word that I can use. The best word to use is coach yourself. So if you can coach yourself through the day, right? Let's say you fall into a situation where you're kind of wondering, am I being confident or overconfident? Am I about to make a decision based off of my ego, or am I making a decision based off of me gaining a better life, right? Coach yourself through this process. Here's 3 questions to ask yourself. First question, am I doing this for attention or growth? Am I doing this for attention or growth? Right? If I'm doing it for attention, there's no reason for me to do it, right? It's just doing it for other people. That has nothing to do with me. That's not respectful to me. Am I doing this for attention, or am I doing it because I want to grow within myself? Mama, what's up? Hashtag live. Love you too. Thank you so much for jumping on here with me today. Are you doing this for attention or growth? That'll tell you instantly. Are you doing this for yourself and because you trust in yourself and your abilities to be able to accomplish this, and you know that this is going to bring you closer to your future goals in life? Or are you doing this because you want to show off to your friends? Because you think it'll look good on a report? Because you think it'll look good to your friends or your family or to the professor, right? Mama says growth. Exactly, growth. Are you doing this for attention or growth? That is a major, major question to answer, because between those two, I mean, those are two different sides, right? The overconfident people, they're always seeking for attention. Overconfident people, you'll always see them like super loud and obnoxious, right? They're always trying to gain the attention of others. Even if someone else is talking, they'll try to cut them off so they can gain the attention back on them, because they can't stand the attention being away from other people. That's why I use the word attention, because that's what they crave the most is the attention, right? They don't feel satisfied unless they have other people's attention because they don't know how to look within themselves. And that's where the growth happens, is really when you start looking within yourself. So that's the first question. Second question, does this align with my goal? Here's the thing. Confident people versus overconfident people. Overconfident people are ego, right? They're ego driven is basically what they are. And when you are ego driven, oftentimes you don't take calculated risks, right? Egotistic people usually do not take calculated risks. They take it based off of like what they think the biggest gain is going to be, right? They don't focus on the value. They usually focus on like the currency, right? The money or the attention that they can get, the currency, right? That's what I'm going to call it, is the currency. That's usually what overconfident people focus on, right? So does this align with your goal? Right? Well, what's my goal? Right? My goal is to be able to make sure that I am in a good state of mind. I treat everybody very fairly. I do everything very ethically to make sure that whatever I'm doing is never going to hurt another person or put them down in any type of way. Right? So if I take action on this company that I know is a scam, right, but it's going to get me more money, is that going to align with my goal? Probably not. Right? Not if that's my goal. Right? So just ask yourself, does it align with my goal? If you are confident within your vision, if you're confident within yourself, you'll be able to answer this question very quickly. Third and final question, does it align with my values? Now, guys, if you don't have set values and set goals for yourself, you need to pause this video, take out a pen and a piece of paper, set a timer for 5 minutes, and just start writing on what your goals and values are. Because if you have no idea what your values are, it's going to be really hard for you to navigate through this life and make very quick decisions, right? You're going to have to think on them for a long time. Sometimes you're going to feel uncertain about yourself. And if you can't even be certain in the decisions that you're making and the conversations that you are having with people, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to live a very satisfied life. Angeline says, absolutely true. Thank you, Angeline. I appreciate you so much. So does it align with your values, right? Well, what are my values? My values, for one, is to make sure that I am always seeing people as people. I never, ever want to see them as objects or people that are lower than me. I see everybody on the same level. Even if someone is making multi-billions of dollars, they are at the same level as I am. If someone is dead broke and living under a bridge, they are at the same exact level as I am. That's one of my hugest values. Everybody is the same. I do not see anyone more or less than anyone else, right? That's one of the biggest values. Does it align with my values? Well, if I'm posting all over Facebook and flexing and posting pictures of me like just on these fancy cars and doing all this great stuff and saying, man, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not really living life. You need to boss up. Like, quit being such a baby, right? You suck if you're not doing this type of stuff. No, that doesn't align with my values, right? So, of course, I'm not going to do it, right? The reason why I wanted to talk about this whole thing when it comes to confidence and self-confidence, right, is because, like I said, so many people cross over this line every single day. So when you become aware of this, just like I say almost on every single one of these videos, when you become aware of something, you're able to control it, right? When you become aware of something, you're able to control it. So now that you are aware of what confidence is and overconfidence is, now it's your job, basically. It's your duty to yourself to start being more aware on a daily basis of what you can control versus what you can't, right? The reason why I say that is so many people are going to leave here being, man, I can't believe that I was such an overconfident person before. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be a confident person. I don't think I can do this. I can't, right? I don't know if if I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know if I can do this, whatever, right? They always think of the things that they can't do. Instead, I want you to think of the things that you can control, right? Which is you. That's it. Your awareness of you. It doesn't matter what other people's opinions are. It doesn't matter what the external world is doing. Your confidence lies inside of you, not physically, of course, right? But that energy, that feeling lies within you. And when you recognize that feelings are actually just chemicals that are getting released inside of this body of ours, right? And we now know, if you've ever listened to Joe Dispenza, if you haven't, you need to go listen to him at least once, right? I say this on every one of my videos too. Listen to Joe Dispenza. He's amazing. We now know that we can activate chemicals within our body with thought alone, right? We don't need a special drug. We don't need any type of pill. We don't need a shot. We don't need a certain rub to go on our skin to be able to activate these certain things. We can literally activate a certain chemical within our mind with thought alone, which means then that if confidence is a chemical that is being released within your body, then today you can choose to be confident. All right, guys, that is basically it for this broadcast today. Thank you so much for joining me on here. I appreciate you so, so much. Drop a hashtag live if you did watch the live today. Drop a hashtag replay if you watched the replay. If you do want to listen to the podcast version of this episode, head over to anchor.fm/Daisha Hanks to listen to the podcast version. If you are on my podcast episode, head over to YouTube and watch the actual video version of this on youtube.com. And you can just search up Daisha Hanks. I'll be the first one that pops up there, or Daily Dose with Daisha, either one. And usually the first one that pops up on both of those platforms, as well on Facebook. I appreciate you guys so much. Remember, you are in control. As soon as you're aware of something, you can control it, especially when it's your own body, right? So choose to be confident today. Choose to be you. And screw what everybody else says, right? 2021 is your year. So let's go ahead and take some action. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.